gun culture meets the gospel. This is Armed Lutheran Radio.
Hey folks, welcome to Armed Lutheran Radio. It's a podcast about guns, hunting, competitive shooting, you know the rest. I'm your host, Lloyd Bailey, the Armed Lutheran, and this is episode number 250. Thank you for making Armed Lutheran Radio a part of your week again this week. For those of you who are new to the show, thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoy what you see and hear, and you come back for more. Today we have our first episode of 2021, and we will be joined by our cast of characters, Sergeant Bill Sylvia, hopefully who is waiting in the green room and is picking up, I think he's picking up primers as we speak, yes, and loading bullets. And hopefully Mia Anstein and Pastor John Bennett will be joining us here momentarily. But first, I want to remind everybody that this is a listener-funded podcast. And what that means, of course, is that we have no advertising. We have no sponsors. This is really the only ad you're going to hear as I plug our membership site, the Reformation Gun Club. We rely on the generosity of the members of the Reformation Gun Club to do what we do every week. Members get early access to the show, invitations to monthly online hangouts, and hundreds of hours of exclusive content at our new website. Plus, they get the satisfaction of knowing that they played a huge part in making this show possible. To all of our members, past and present, thank you all so much for your support and for making this possible. We really do appreciate it. If you would like to join them, visit armedlutheran.us/gun club and find out more. All right, so let's get to it. It is episode 250 live. And what we're doing today is, of course, we're beginning our 6th year of Armed Lutheran Radio. And I thought we'd use this show to sort of close the book on 2020. 2020 sucked really bad. It sucked a big bag of, I'm not going to say, but it wasn't all bad. There were some good things, and we're going to focus on the positives. We're going to focus on the silver linings as we kick off 2021. People had a lot of downtime in 2021, and so we're going to talk about our favorite things of 2020. 2021 hasn't started out all that great, of course, but we're not going to talk about that yet. We'll get to that in due time. We're going to talk kind of finish off 2020 first. So Sergeant Bill is in the green room, which is his reloading room, and the pistol packing Padre, Pastor John Bennett, is with us.
Hey,
Pastor, how are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. How does the audio sound?
It sounds good. It sounds good. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. Feeling a little drained, but it was a tough day.
2021 has been trying already.
2020, I think the social media emoji mascot was an empty toilet paper roll. And I think 2021, it's turning out to be the poop emoji. So
it's going to be a full toilet, I think. And there is our masterclass competitive shooter who's snuck back to the bar. No, there he is. Sergeant Bill is with us.
Bar's over there.
How are you?
Oh, there we go.
I'm hanging in there. Not too bad,
All
I guess.
right.
All things
Not too bad.
Kinda
You've
cold out here,
restocked the what did the keganator thing? What is it?
Yeah, kegerator. I got a 2-tap
Kegerator.
Yep. Michelob Ultra
Okay.
on one side, Sam Adams on the other.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I can guess that when we get to the questions about your favorite non-shooting related gear, that's going to probably come into play there. So why don't we start there? Let's start with our favorite thing. We're talking about our favorite things of 2020. So favorite non-shooting related gear of 2020. Bill, start off because I sort of led you right into it. It was a terrible segue, but go ahead.
But we'll segue into another sip. Yeah, it's my wife bought me an early Christmas gift. It's probably a week before, maybe 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. And she got a little mini kegerator that holds 2 of the skinny kegs, the 1.6 barrels. They hold, I think, 55 pints each.
Okay.
And, yeah, it's pretty nice. It's nice to be able to pour tap beer, and it tastes better. I don't know. Michelob Ultra is but out of the tap, it's so good.
Pastor, how about you? Non-shooting, your favorite non-shooting related gear of 2020.
Does a gun safe count as non-shooting gear? Because I store other things in there besides, that I really like.
Severed heads of his enemies.
He is out in the middle of nowhere, after all.
Yes, I am. So that could happen, and no one would ever know.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't peek in there very often, so
Good.
I did get a really nice gift from my wife for Christmas, and it is a bolt action pen, ballpoint pen that is hand carved wood. The tip of the pen looks like a rifle round, and
okay.
it's really sweet. I think she probably paid more for it than she should have, but I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Other gear, I got a new phone, so that's always nice. And actually, that's what I'm using right now. New setup I thought I'd try. I got a shotgun mic for doing the live stream of the church's worship services.
Good deal.
Used it today for the first time. Sounded so good. I thought, I'll try doing that for the video chat. I just have it sitting on a tripod with the shotgun mic on it, and
sounds good.
Good.
Very nice. Nice.
I think I have one more thing that's probably pretty awesome that's not gun related.
Okay. Go for it.
I got a new vehicle.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a 2020 Ford Expedition Limited. It is by far the nicest vehicle I've ever had. By far.
Those Expeditions are nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
I felt kind of weird getting a soccer mom SUV, but then I talked to a couple guys at the range that had them, and they said the same thing as me. I just want another F-150, but my wife made me get this, and I said, so how's it going? And one of the guys was like, I've had it for 6 weeks, and I love it. And I get it now. I totally get it. I love that thing. It's awesome. It's comfortable. I mean, it's like 30-something degrees. We just got home from dinner a little while ago, and we had the heated leather seats, heated steering wheel, front and rear, heaters on for the kids in the back. And it does everything except for really drive for you. And it tries to do that. But
it tries to do that.
Yeah, lane assist and stuff. But
that's the lane assist stuff is scary and annoying. We have a Honda CRV that does that, or tried to do that to us. And of course, here in Texas, you've got roads that sort of dip and sway because of the way the soil changes during the year, and so they try to patch and fill those things with that shiny kind of tar stuff.
Yeah,
and the lane assist would pick that up as a line, and so it was dragging the car all over the place. And the first week we got it, it was like throwing us into the ditch and into the wrong lane. And my wife went out and drove it, and she was like, "Oh my God, this car! There's something wrong with this car. You got to try it." And I drove it around, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is great. This car is awesome. And then she said, try it on this street. And I went and drove it down the road that she was driving to take my daughter to school. And that road has been, pothole filled and got all kinds of those lines in it. And that's the only thing I can figure is that it's picking up the reflections off of that tar, and it would just try to correct you when you don't need to be corrected. And so we had to turn that off. that was annoying.
Well,
So I guess
I'm guessing roads in Japan are much better for than it is in because rural Minnesota, it depends on what county you're in. You can be in one county and the roads are great. You go into another one, you think you're driving through the streets of Fallujah.
yeah, it's like that here in Texas, although it's, one side of town or the other. It really, I mean, you can't really tell. I guess for me, the you can't really see it. I'm using it right now because I needed more space in the studio. Was the Audient Evo 4 that I got. It's a nice little box about this big that is my audio interface. It just takes up so much less space in here. It's portable and it's affordable, and it was great. It's really lightweight and movable, so it made things a lot easier in the studio. And then of course the other thing was, for some reason, I got a wild hair and got an air fryer, and we used that for Thanksgiving and Christmas turkey, and it was just awesome. So those are my favorite non-gun related things, and we'll segue into the gun related things since Pastor, you not so you allude. No, you didn't allude to it. You actually came out and said it. So gun-related gear for 2020. What is your favorite piece of gun-related gear for 2020?
Well, I did mention the safe. It's about twice the size of the safe that I already had. I was going to sell off the other safe to kind of help pay for the one that I bought. But I decided, well, if there ever is a fire, I'm sure the firefighters would appreciate it if 15,000 rounds of ammunition were in a fireproof safe as opposed to in a cheap metal cabinet. So I decided, you know what? I would feel terrible. I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I sold off my safe for a few $100 and there's ever a fire and some firefighter gets killed because of all the ammunition. So I kept them both.
There you go.
Two are better than one. My wife bought me a nice motion activated light kit that I put in the safe, and that's really nice.
Nice.
So that's, I'd love to say I've been able to score some, inexpensive ammo during 2020. I did buy a box of 9mm for $20 the other day, and whatever.
20 rounds of self-defense ammo, or was that?
It was
ball.
50 rounds. It was 50 rounds of a full metal jacket, aluminum case.
So. Ouch.
Yeah.
Bill, how about you?
Well, I had to narrow this down a lot because I've got a lot of gun stuff this year. But it kind of was a three-way tie. So, and early in the year, I got a pure tungsten guide rod for a Glock 34 from the Glock store.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And it's different than other guide rods that are made out of tungsten because it's a little bit longer and it's actually heavier. The thing weighed like 6 ounces or something. So it between that and a grip weight in the Glock 34, it changed it from a super light gun to, I think I was pushing like 42 ounces. That's pretty heavy for a Glock. And it makes it so much fun to shoot. Besides that, I got a Mr. Bullet feeder from one of my presses. So it's putting bullets on, which is really nice. It kind of makes it just a lot more simpler and just kind of smooths out and speeds up the reloading process.
Right.
And last but not least, my wife for Christmas got me a Glock 48 MOS. And I haven't got it yet, but I'm going to get a hold of some of those Shield Arms magazines. So it's the size of a Glock 19. I could put a dot on it, and the Shield Arms magazines will bump up the factory 10 round to 15 rounds, and it's a skinny Glock 19 with the same amount of ammo on it. So
nice.
It's pretty cool.
Nice.
It handles really nice too. I like it.
Nice. It would be for me, it would be pretty much nothing because I did no shooting in 2020 at all. I could not get to my shooting gear. It was all blocked in my garage during all the disaster with my house. I think we did make it to the range early in the spring, right after some of the restrictions here in Texas were sort of eased a bit. We got out to Mission 160, and then the disaster at the house hit and all of my gear got, crammed in the corner in the garage. So I didn't see them for 5 months. And yeah, so no, let me take that back. There's one thing. So I'm going to have to big screen this. Solo layout. I did get this. This was a nice gift. This was sent to me by the guys at the Holiday Havoc. Let me find the camera. I'm gonna have to hide me. The guys at the Holiday Havoc, because I could not make it, they went ahead and printed me up a shirt.
Nice.
Which I thought was really cool. Put my name on it and everything. So thanks to Jay Heil and the guys at the Westside Sportsman's Club in Evansville, Indiana. That was pretty awesome. So that was the one piece of shooting gear. Let's see. So I don't know. Anybody get a chance to do any reading this year? I know, Bill, you're an essential employee, so you didn't get a whole lot of downtime. Anybody do any more reading than usual this year? Any good books to recommend for folks, just in case we end up with more lockdowns this year?
I did a lot of reading of this book called The Bible. Maybe you've heard of it.
I've heard of that somewhere.
But I guess you could say that's also work related for me. Aside from that, I haven't been able to do a great deal of reading, but I do plan on reading once again 1984, Fahrenheit 451. Never read
Lord.
Brave New World. I'd like to read that. Just so we know what's coming this year.
Yeah. Grab a copy of Animal Farm and 1984.
Yep, I got that sitting on my nightstand right now.
And Brave New World. Yes, exactly. Bill, anything for you?
I read a book called Match Mentality by Ben Steger. It was all about how to shoot matches better and more efficiently. It was a short little book. It was good. But I would recommend it. I read another book that kind of I wrote down that I thought was interesting, that I don't think a lot of people would think is interesting, though. It was I think I twisted my ankle or something and had like a week and a half at work where I was working the office. So I read the Colt 45 shop manual by Jerry Kuhnhausen.
What?
Wow. It's basically the most in-depth dive into the Colt 45 1911 that you could possibly imagine. If you have insomnia,
why?
It would be a really good book. I learned a lot about 1911s, and I shoot Glocks all the time, but I love 1911s, and I shoot them too. So it's something somebody bought me that book years ago, and it's something I've always wanted to read. And I was like, I'm stuck at work. I might as well. I'm just sitting in the office, did my work I had to do, and when I had time, I was just kind of going through it, and man, it was but very informative. I mean, if you're halfway interested in it, it was pretty good, but it's not like what I would say I would recommend to anybody.
Gotcha. Okay. So if you have insomnia, this is the book to read. Gotcha. I actually read a book by the unfortunately named Philip K. Dick, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? If you've seen the movie Blade Runner, you will know this book. This is the book on which the movie is based. Sort of a dystopian. It's an interesting book. It's fun to kind of go back and read some of those original books that the movies were based on, to see how much they changed and how much the movies diverged from the original. It was pretty interesting. Speaking of books about what's coming, I read recently a book called The Doomed City, which is by the Strugatsky brothers, who were sci-fi writers in the Soviet Union. And this book was, The Doomed City basically is this experiment where all these people from different countries and different times are put together in this city to see if they can all work together. And it's an metaphor for the communists, for global communism and the failure of global communism. And they had to hide this book. They wrote this book over several years, and they had to hide it. They had one copy, and they hid it for years and years and years because they knew that if somebody read it, it would be deemed unsuitable, and they would end up, yeah, exactly. And so it finally got published, I think, in 1989 during Perestroika, and then finally, but it never really got wide publication in the West. And it finally was sort of a rediscovered classic, as they called it. And it's an interesting look into how people who lived in that time, in that system, what they thought of the system. And it's really an interesting book, definitely a worthwhile read. Anybody watch any movies this year? Last year, I mean.
Yes.
Lots of movies.
Yeah.
New.
Anything? Well, that's okay. Anything rediscovered or newly discovered that you enjoyed?
I rewatched the old series Burn Notice.
Oh, okay. So TV. Now, all right. So
Just good mindless entertainment. Of course, you get annoyed at guns that seem to have 80 round magazines. A standard size pistol, that kind of thing. So watched that. Watched a couple of interesting Amazon series.
okay.
One was called Hand of God.
Okay.
Don't look for any deep theological content in there.
Is that the one? Is that the one with Ron Perlman?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, that's
I
the
didn't
one.
watch it, but I heard interesting and not so positive things about it. What did you think?
It's good if you can get past the theological disconnect from reality. So basically, you have this corrupt judge that he has this religious experience. He starts hearing voices. He has a son who successfully. I won't give anything away for the show, but his son committed suicide, and he starts having visions of seeing his son talk to him, telling him to get vengeance for a horrible crime that was committed against his wife. Again, don't want to give too much away. But the whole series, it's 3 seasons, and it's about the Ron Perlman's character trying to get justice for his son and his son's wife.
Okay.
So vigilante justice kind of thing. I got about halfway through the first episode, and I was like, I don't know. But then you get to the end of the episode, and you're like, holy crap, let's watch the next one. So, but it's again, theologically, you have to completely set that aside. And imagine watching it as somebody who knows nothing about the Bible, and then you're okay. So,
Gotcha.
but I thoroughly enjoyed it. My wife enjoyed it too. So,
any TV series for you, Bill?
My wife talked me into watching a couple of them, and I only got started into them. There was I think season 7 and 8 of Vikings, which is good, and I haven't finished those yet. She tried to get me to start watching. What is that terrible? The Scotland. You know what I'm talking about?
Outlander.
Oh, that's so bad. I got through the first season, and the last episode where they're doing all that stuff to the guy, and I was like, why am I watching this? So I haven't gone on to season 2. Felt like I lost several hours of my life I'll never get back. Yeah.
You do feel like your body is flowing with more estrogen after watching them, because my wife got me to watch them with her, and there's lots of butts and boobs if that's your kind of thing, but yeah.
That's how she sold it, and it wasn't.
See, I watch shows like that with my wife, and I have to look away at those scenes, otherwise I just feel dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I watched a lot of old movies, but
well, sticking to TV, have you tried? There's a series on Amazon. Speaking of Amazon, The Truth Seekers. Have either of you tried that one?
I've got it on my watch list. Haven't watched it yet.
It's fun. It's Nick Frost from Shaun of the Dead. He's a broadband installer by day and paranormal investigator YouTube guy by night, and it's funny. And he does all of his investigations while he's on the job, and he's doing it's funny. So definitely worth a watch. And of course, everyone on Earth probably has watched Mandalorian. My wife is all about the Baby Yoda thing, so. And it's actually probably the best Star Wars stuff since
Grogu.
episode 4, I guess, probably. And we watched lots of hockey, because if you're like me and you were starved for some sports and you hate the NFL now, when hockey finally came back, I don't normally watch anybody but our favorite team. But when the playoffs started up, I was watching everything they put out. I was just like glued to the TV watching all the playoffs. It was must-see TV. It was really exciting stuff. Any music you guys picked up? Any new music or anything that you rediscovered in 2020?
Van Halen.
Well, that's that's a given.
Yeah, but even more so after Eddie Van Halen passed away. I listen to there's a lot of bands that do covers of Van Halen stuff, and if you listen to like Pandora or iHeartRadio or any of those, you can find stations that play all that stuff. And for about a month after he passed away, I'm pretty sure that's all I listened to was either Van Halen or Van Halen covers. It's pretty awesome.
Pastor, how about you?
I've got a confession to make. I don't listen to a lot of music. So, I mean, when I'm working on stuff on the computer, I'll put some classical music on just kind of in the background to kind of help me concentrate. It helps minimize distractions, but by and large, I'm mostly just a talk radio kind of guy. I've turned into that guy. I've turned into my dad, I guess. Talk radio. Gotcha.
I didn't find anything new. I rediscovered a couple of things because, stuck at home. And so during the rebuild of the house, basically, I was actually started an exercise routine and was getting up every morning and was exercising, then working and then exercising. And of course, you know how well that lasted after we moved back here. So, but anyway, while that lasted, I was trying to find some music to listen to during the exercise sessions. And I rediscovered an old metal band that I had listened to back in the 90s. I'm a metalhead by nature, was always loved metal back in the 90s, was a metal DJ in college. And so, as you probably can tell from the soundtrack of this show, as it's always been kind of a headbanging soundtrack, and Metallica is one of my favorites. And but there was another one of the what are they called? The Big Four, right? Slayer and what is it? Slayer and Anthrax and Metallica and Megadeth. But there's a fifth that some people say there's the Big Five. Overkill. Overkill is an East Coast band from New Jersey. Believe it or not, I didn't even know they were still around. They have 19 albums now. The lead singer is 61. He's had a stroke, and they're still going.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, and they're getting ready to put out another album this year, 2021. And I thought they'd sort of, faded out back in the 90s when I was still kind of heavy into that stuff. And so I found them again. Good stuff. So if you're into heavy metal, good stuff. And Rammstein's another one. I would definitely if you like Rammstein, I would definitely get the translation of the lyrics so you're not bebopping to some of their more
They're more satanic stuff, right?
Well, you don't want to be bebopping to songs about gay sex. Let's just say that.
Ooh, yeah.
They
No
try
thanks.
they push the envelope of, because they're kind of a shock metal band. It's not so much this is cool, it's let's see what we can get away with and shock people's conscience. And so yeah, some of it is a little there's a small percentage that is, let's just see if we can, shock granny sort of stuff. Bill, you've got a little something going on. I'm not sure exactly what with your mic. And I don't know whether it is something. Are you using earbuds or what are you using?
Just the mic. Okay. You want me to use earbuds? I can use earbuds.
I don't know. That's weird. Or are you reloading as we speak?
No. I'm out in the garage. Okay. It's dead quiet out here.
Okay, cool.
Here, you can hear a pen drop.
Oh my goodness, yes you can. All right. Food and drink. Anybody find anything new this year? I mean, no, you couldn't go out and eat anywhere, and you couldn't go to bars. But I bet alcohol played a big. Will probably feature heavily in this answer.
I should have bought stock in distilleries. That would have been a really wise choice early on. Probably would have made a boatload of money by now. I found a couple new whiskeys, and
do tell.
I think I showed this one before, and this is courtesy of a friend of the show, Larry Bean, one of my fellow pastors. But it's Old Smokies, habanero. Is it mango habanero mango? One of the two. But it's mango, a habanero mango flavored whiskey, and it's excellent. I also found a cheap whiskey, a Scotch. It's a blended Scotch that's got a little bit of smoke to it, and just really good for the price. Called John Barr. So yeah.
Okay. Nice. Bill, how about you?
Oh wait, I'm not done yet. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're not done yet. Okay.
My wife is one that hates alcohol.
Oh,
and
okay.
There was one day where I was out running errands early on in COVID, and my kids were going to stay the night with the grandparents. She said, "You know what? I want to drink tonight." So
what?
I bought a couple. Yeah, that's just very much out of character for her, but she wanted to relax and let loose a little bit. So she said, make me a drink. Well, I'm at the liquor store, and I buy a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I called it COVID cocktail, but it's it's white peach cranberry juice, regular cranberry juice, orange juice, mango flavored Bacardi rum, and peach schnapps.
Okay.
And she loved it. You can't even taste the alcohol in it. It's great stuff.
COVID cocktail.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
Like a COVID on the beach, I guess. You can't go to the beach, so.
Yeah.
Why not? All right, Bill. What about you?
Just loving that beer keg. Just sipping on beers.
Sipping beers.
Lots of ultra. We had a big old keg of Shiner Bock. So, I'll dabble into little stuff here and there as far as like bourbons and whiskeys and stuff, but beer's refreshing.
I discovered Moscow Mules this year.
Oh.
And my son actually bought me his favorite ginger beer for Christmas to make these. So thank you, son. And especially since he thought that my original choice was swill, so he decided he would get me something appropriate. And so there you go. I also found, and you've probably seen this on the show previously, was Texas Ranger Peanut Butter Cup Whiskey, which was actually quite good. So those would be my recommendations.
I'm going to have to get going at this point. It's just been a really, really long day. This day, or I should say this week, has felt like kind of like the entire year of 2020. So
Yeah,
it's been one of those
2021 started off kind of rough.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to bid you all good night. God bless, and let's hope that at least 2021 from here on out is better than it's been so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Anything before you go? Anything? What you're hoping for? Looking forward to in 2021 that you were unable to do in 2020.
Spend more time with my wife's folks. The only family we have here in Minnesota is my wife's parents. Spend more time with them. They're very concerned about COVID, so hopefully once they'll be one of the first people to get the vaccine. So hopefully after that they'll feel a little bit safer about spending time with us. But I'll tell you before I go, one of the great things about 2020 is had a lot of great friendships develop. Some of those friendships had already started, but we started spending a lot more time together with families that shared our values, and a lot of great friendships have come out of that. So that's one of the great blessings of 2020. And those friendships, these are the kind of friendships that are going to last a lifetime. So 2020 wasn't all bad. There was some blessings in there as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, Pastor, Christ blessings to you. Thank you for taking some time. I know you haven't felt real well. Thank you for taking the time
It is
tonight.
what it is. Yes, and blessings to you and Bill and to the viewers.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you as well.
All right. How about you, Bill? What are you hoping improves in 2021? And we haven't exactly gotten off to a good start.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to this year improving?
I wish I had an answer for you. I don't see a whole lot of stuff improving. Just because I don't think a lot of people really, they talk about it, they want things to get better, but they just expect for it to happen. They're not doing anything to make it happen. And the people that are, they keep getting trounced over by the media or politicians or whatever. It's just, I don't know. I'm just,
You think it's
living day by day, taking care of my family, doing my job, trying to have fun along the way. It's really all you can do.
It really is. And so we don't end on a down note. I know you've got a very difficult situation because of your job, and I don't think it's going to get a whole lot easier in 2021. It's something we'll probably touch on quite a bit this year. So we'll save the negative for another show, and just hope that 2021 isn't as bad as 2020 anyway, and hopefully you and your wife stay safe and healthy, and the kids as well. Anything
shoot with you in 2021.
That would be awesome. Yeah, we get past this cold snap, and I'm going to take you up on that offer to get out to the range, because I definitely needed it. I'm definitely willing to throw those dollar bills downrange at this point, just to get out and have some trigger time and spend some time with you again.
Oh yeah,
it's time, well past time.
Oh,
Any
yeah.
other like podcasts or YouTube channels you discovered recently or in 2020 that are interesting or useful for competitive shooters, or just in general? Anything new that you discovered that you'd like to share with as we wrap things up?
Yeah, so I shoot with Collin County, and I've been shooting a lot of USPSA this year. Excuse me. And one of the guys I shoot with, his name is David, and I probably shot several matches with him before I knew he actually had his own podcast. There's several guys that shoot in our club that have podcasts, and his is called The Humble Marksman, and his sense of humor and his honest reviews of guns and gear and equipment is is great. I love it. It's entertaining to me. It's actually informative, and it's fun to watch. So if you get a chance and you like, the gun gear review stuff, and you got a pretty good sense of humor, and you want somebody who's going to give it to you straight, not from somebody who's just getting free stuff, but from somebody who actually shoots. He probably shoots almost as much as I do, even though he likes to give us lefties a hard time. But it's all right. I give him a hard time on the range when I'm poking him about, don't let this production guy beat your carry optics gun. So it's a good show. It's worth checking out.
Very cool. I'll have to check that out. I can't think. I guess the one that that off the top of my head I can think of is that I've watched a lot of this year was the History Traveler, I think it's called. The guy's a history teacher, and he doesn't look like a history teacher. I had no idea he was a history teacher. He finally, at the end of the year, he did a show where he answered some Q&A from viewers. It's a YouTube channel, and he's got the beard, and he's got the cap with the USA flag on it, and he drinks Jocko energy drinks, and he drives around the country, and he goes to historical places, usually not the big name. I mean, he's been to the Smithsonian, and he flew to France, and he went to Normandy. He went to the different beaches in Normandy. He went to the forest outside the battle, the Ardennes forest outside where the Battle of the Bulge took place. He's gone to some really interesting, obscure historical places, mostly here in the U.S., which is really interesting. World War II fortifications on the coast of Maine recently, which was, I thought, interesting. There's a museum based on, I think, the Jupiter 5 rocket program actually was in Huntsville, Alabama, and there is Werner von Braun was actually in Alabama developing the U.S. rocket program after World War II, and there's a big, huge rocket museum there, and he went there. So places you wouldn't normally see, and he started doing this YouTube channel basically as a supplement for his students. And it turned into this really cool thing, and it's called The History Traveler. It's a lot of fun. He's got like 103 or 105 episodes. So if you're interested, particularly in American history, it's really cool. So I would recommend checking that out. And as far as podcasts, if you have an interest again in history, Bill Whittle narrates a podcast called The Cold War, What We Saw, which is really good. I enjoyed that a lot too. Picked that up this year. So I guess that kind of covers it. Anything else you can think of that fun or interesting, new and exciting, that the positives of 2020 such as they were last year?
I did have a podcast that I liked. I listened to a lot of this year because they're really long, which was what was it called? Oh, Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. I don't know if you've ever seen that one or listened
Dan
to
Carlin's
Hardcore History.
Hardcore History, yes.
I mean, I think I was six 5-hour episodes on.
Holy cow!
On Japanese, rise to power and then their fall, and it's called Hardcore History for a reason. He goes so in depth. It's really interesting. It's really good. They're really long though. You need to have a lot of drive time to enjoy it.
So the kind of thing you take on a long road trip. Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Or an hour commute either way to work. So that's what I've got. I got an hour to and an hour home, and I was listening to it for probably a couple months at one point. Like most of June and July, I was listening to his show.
Nice.
So yeah, it's good.
Nice. I'll have to check that out. All right. Well, I think that pretty well covers it. I think we'll wrap it up there. Bill, thank you so much. Thank you for everything that you've done over the past 5 years to make this show what it is. you'll see me on the Second Amendment Foundation's Daily Bullet this coming week, and one of the things that I was asked was to talk about the program, and one of the things I made, and I always have tried to make clear, is that the reason that we're still doing this show 5 years later is because I've surrounded myself with people like you. It's just, if I had done what I originally designed this show to do, it would have sunk in 4 episodes. It was absolutely atrociously bad. And I decided to surround myself with people like you and Aaron and Mia and Pastor Bennett. And it's just been a joy, and it's so much better than I ever could have imagined. And here we are, 250 episodes in, and looking at starting our 6th season. And thank you so much for everything you've done, and looking forward to what you bring to the table this year.
You're welcome. Hey, it's been fun. It's always fun. I had fun shooting with you. I had fun talking with you. I had fun doing the show with you. So,
all right.
Fun. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Now
thank you, my friend. And I'm sending you a copy of the new book, by the way. The weekly shooters thingy. I can't even remember the name of my own book. That's what happens when you're two glasses of this into the show, you forget the name of your own book. The weekly competition planner. That's what's coming your way. Okay, folks, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for everybody who has supported the show over the past 5 years, and now starting our 6th year. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. Thank you to our Reformation Gun Club members who have supported the show financially. You have all been such a great blessing, and I really do appreciate it. We are going into our 6th season, and like I said in the State of the Show podcast or episode last week, I think it's just going to be a great year. I mean, I know it's going to be a challenging year for all of us as conservatives, as Christians. I know it's going to be that we're going to have challenges come our way, but we're going to rise to the task, and we're going to have a lot to talk about, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you will join us and stick with us as we tackle all of the issues. And thank you so much for sticking with us all these years, and I hope you'll enjoy 2021 as we move forward. So have a great evening. Episode 251 is coming your way next Sunday. It'll be probably, we haven't planned it, but I'm suspecting it's going to be probably a Clinging to God and Guns episode, as we talk about how 2021 has started, some of the issues surrounding the start of 2021. Thank you all again for watching. We'll talk to you next time.